Video diary. I'm looking at the other screen. Video diary. I haven't done one in ages. Oh my God, I'll be disappointing my 13 subscribers. Anyway, so where the hell do we start? We've had a lot of things happen. Not much I can actually talk about in a public diary. So let's go back to basics. Let's set out our stall. And Contortium is at the moment, and I think we should continue. I think at the moment is doing modern Grand Guignol, or however you pronounce it, Grand Guignol. And apparently, to establish, was it EAT, expertise, authority, and trust, I have to now tell you what Grand Guignol theatre was from my perspective. And people mistakenly think it's a theatre of horror. And funnily enough, I have, let's not beat around the bush here, we're all kind of using the same text, the same sources. And the big one, of course, est la. Don't know if you can see that. Yeah, that's it. That's the magnum opus. That has got virtually every shred of primary material that is available in it. It is a magnificent book. It's also in French. Et ma français c'est merde. Absolument. Je parle français comme un natif. Car dommage, c'est un natif d'Angleterre. Alors, so working through this, what emerges very quickly is that the Grand Guignol, which we all think of, those of us who do this sort of thing, as a theatre of horror and fear, actually wasn't. It was all over the place. It was doing true crime. It was doing comedies, little sex farces. It was doing all sorts of stuff. It's analogous, really, to Hammer, because, again, if you say to people, Hammer films, instantly they will say horror movies. Whereas, actually, horror movies make up a very small part of Hammer's output. Now, those of you who may have seen a show, and it's not unlikely a big chunk of our 13 subscribers have actually seen the show, will know that we do the anthology thing, and that appeals to me for a number of reasons. The first off is it makes rehearsing very easy, because you only need, I mean, if a thing is, the rough rule of thumb in directing is that you need about an hour per minute of straight spoken text. For music, triple it. If it's dance, you can be up to 10 times longer. But for straight spoken text, 1 hour per minute. And a piece that's only 10 to 12 minutes long, 10, 12 hours, you can rehearse that up to an acceptable standard in a couple of days. Piece of cake. Wonderful. Secondly, it does seem to have a fascination. I am very pleased to say that my own personal fascination is actually mirrored by the audiences we're finding. Are we up to 3? Third. See, I can count. Thirdly, we can afford to be experimental. We can afford to put up stuff that's a bit risky, because people haven't committed their entire evening to that one piece. If they don't like it, hang on for 10 minutes. Go and get a drink. Go to the loo, because there's another piece coming later on. So we can take risks that we wouldn't be able to take if it was one long piece. And that's benefit 3A. Because if we can afford to take risks, we don't have to rely on established, proven writers. We can chuck, we can chuck risks in. We can chuck beginners in. We can put new writing in, and we have that safety zone, right? We have that comfort that allows us to do that. And my favourite, my reason 4, is that the Grand Guignol, this is not a very fashionable liking, but it works for me, is that the Grand Guignol was fantastically profitable. It worked. And it worked for 65 years, 1897 to 1962, with the proviso that post-war period, it does seem to have struggled. It's still actually. There's a couple of casual mentions that I would really like to expand. One being that Eva Bergson, who took over the management of the theatre in, I think, 1936, I should check, came back after World War II and then had to scarp her in 1950 because of debts. So clearly, at that point, it's not the money spinner it was in its heyday. But it still limps on for another 12 years. It still limps on to 1962. So, and in its heyday, it made a lot of money. It was very popular. It was also very, very robust. 65 years is a very long time for any sort of theatre of this nature. So what we got? We have accessible, simple, profitable, and versatile. We've got a tough little structure that we can play with and take risks with. And yes, we can put material in. The recent show had a play about pegging. I'm not going to tell you what pegging is. If you want to know what pegging is, go and look it up. Be careful. Don't do it at work. Well, actually, the dark and terrible secret, as I share with my 13 subscribers, is that actually it wasn't about pegging. It was about communication and openness in a relationship. And the pegging was kind of just, the excuse for that. But yeah, we sent an actor on stage with a big glow in the... I've got it somewhere. It's downstairs. A big glow in the dark dildo strap on. And for the right audience, that was fun. I apologise to the people who really probably shouldn't have come to see us. They did not have a good time with that one. But elsewhere, with the right audience, loved it. Absolutely loved it. And that, I think, because we're up to about 7 minutes, I'm not going to make this, we'll do other talks about what the Grand Guignol was and how it did what it did, and also what I think went wrong with it. Because we've all got our opinion, I've got mine, but I think 7 minutes, frankly, will do fine. Good to see you.